Hi, good morning. It is a beautiful day, and I'm so excited about this video. Actually, I have something I feel really near and dear to my heart to share, and it's pretty exciting to me to be able to do this because I'm not sure that I've actually ever really spoke out to the masses or to lots of people in this way. So I'm ready. And what I wrote about on my post here on the video is about, we say our children are stubborn, we say our children are on the spectrum, we say our children have behavioral needs, they have anxiety, they have all these things. And for so many years, I have worked with so many children, including my daughter. And we say they're highly sensitive, and all these things are true. However, that's me, right? I was a highly sensitive child and adult. So, however, we say this, and my question is, this is my truth, this is what I feel. Are they here to teach us something new, a new perspective, a new way? And I have always said, yes, absolutely. Most definitely, you betcha. Because let's just take, here's a story in the school system, right? I've been a teacher and I'm not teaching currently. I facilitate private sessions now, empowering children and those who love them. So you could call me, I'm a child empowerment coach, and I love it. So being in the school system, I had a year where I was teaching first and second grade together. And hi everybody, thanks for coming. And it without fail, there was so many children always coming in. I hate school. I don't want to do it. I hate to read. And I'm still hearing it. I go to my daughter's school, middle school and high school, and I still hear things like that. So this one boy in particular, here's the story. I'm not going to use his name. I'll just say his name is Tom. But he, 7 years old, and he came in and angry as the angriest whippersnapper I have met in children. Very angry, didn't want to be there, had a really bad attitude, really frustrated, just wasn't going to listen, wasn't going to do anything I asked. And the approach that I always come from is, let's come together as a class, let's find a way to create a unified classroom where we're all feeling safe, we're all creating the guidelines, we're all talking about what will help us all feel really good to be here. So when I started that, he sat outside of the group. He didn't sit with us. And this wasn't unusual. I mean, this happens with children a lot, and it's okay, right? They deserve that time and space to observe what's going on, to feel safe. And, he came, that same day, actually through that whole week, he never came to circle. And what was happening was the same day, and day after day, when I would ask, I would kind of give, a direction of it's time to line up to go to specials, for example. Because we do have schedules in school. And I get from parents and teachers, well, the kids just need to comply. There's a different way to approach this than just say they need to comply. And I've said it too. They need to comply. But, So he would stand in the back of the room in the corner and never ever want to come. Never ever. He never wanted to line up ever, like the first week or two. And I remember feeling like, this is interesting. And I love that. This is what I love, is that boy was asserting his innerness, his inner beingness, the truth of what he knew. And the truth of what he knew was, why do I just have to do what everyone's telling me to do? Why do I have to just follow that? Why don't I get an option? Why is it that I have to just kind of follow along? Well, we don't want our children to just follow along. So we tell them, oh, you have to comply and follow the rules and follow the directions. And then sometimes some children get into a crowd of friends and they follow along, we get angry. Why did you do that? Think for yourself. But are we giving them the opportunity to do that? Are we showing them? Are we giving them tools to really listen to their inner being? And then stand up with kindness and collaboration, instead of standing in the back of the room going, nope, I'm not doing that. Because what teachers and others would consider that is a behavioral problem. Someone who is oppositional or defiant, or all of those words that we use. And the truth is, he just doesn't have any tools. He didn't. He does now. But he didn't have any tools. He didn't really know how to approach that. He just knew deep inside somewhere, I don't really want to go to music because I don't like music because it's really loud and there's a lot going on. And he didn't understand what he was feeling. He didn't understand. He just knew deep inside no. And so being that I knew that, I was that same type of child who felt that way. And I had, I'm a parent who has a child like that, and I've been teaching all these years, going through all these experiences. I took a different route. And sometimes, it takes time. It doesn't always happen right away. So it took this kid a couple of weeks before he really believed me, which understandable, right? Because he's just been forced to do things, which is also understandable because teachers and parents are just, we have a schedule, we got to get it done. We need to do what we need to do. I mean, it's just the world that we live in. So, so this is what I did. I said, okay, here's the deal. I got to walk the class to music. You can come, but I can't leave you in here by yourself. You don't have to go to music right away. You don't even have to go if you really, really feel that uncomfortable. It wasn't music. I think it was, actually it was music because it was really chaotic in the music class. And he would do this often, and I would use the same approach. You don't really have to go. I would really like you to, because, and I'd give the reason, like I have a meeting I need to go to, or, I can't leave you in here by yourself. And all of those things were true. He knew I wasn't lying, right? I didn't make up some crazy cockamamie manipulative thing to get him to come, right? I was telling him the truth, and I said, I really, really just need you to come out of the classroom. So you can sit out here in the hall if you want. You can walk with me, what's your option? And every time he would be the very, very last kid coming out. And sometimes he would hang out in the hallway. Sometimes he would walk with me. This was like the first couple of weeks of school. And throughout the year, there were times when he felt very anxious, and he wasn't the only one in the class in this experience, or feeling these types of experiences. And we would do the same thing. And sometimes he would walk with me. Sometimes he would hang out in the hall. Sometimes he would join music and leave in the middle of it if it was too overwhelming, and he would sit outside the door. Options. So here's the cool thing about that. I didn't ask that kid to change. I didn't say, ooh, he's moldable. I can mold him into being who I need him to be to make myself feel better, or to create an experience that works better for me. I didn't do that, okay? I just explained to this wonderful boy, here's some options. Do you have any other ideas? Maybe we can use some ideas that you would like. I also explained to him what I needed, right? And when I explained to him what I needed, in truth, I didn't make it up. I didn't try to make him be something that he wasn't. It wasn't that he complied. It was that he understood. My teacher needs this, and I am in school, and I do need to go to music eventually, but I also need what I need. And so we were all getting what we needed. The music teacher was having an experience with him. He was experiencing what he needed. I was experiencing what I needed, and he was able to get to feel empowered and to make choices that benefited him, which inevitably benefited, or if that's even a word, was a benefit to everyone, right? Because when people were not giving him those types of options and trying to, I don't want to say coerce or force, but put him in a situation where you just got to do this, he just fought it. And then there were problems galore. And it was anger and throwing things or screaming at you. And it was unbelievably challenging. So I'm not saying, this is not me saying, oh, just give in to what they need. No, this is me saying, why is it that we believe that children just have to do what we tell them to do? Maybe they're here to help us learn a new way, a new perspective, a new way of seeing the world and being in the world with our kids, right? Because they have options and they have inner beings. We would like options. We don't like our bosses telling us you have to do it just like this and there's no other way. And I've been in that position, and I have stood up and said, but that doesn't really work for me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I would prefer A, B, C, D. And they either agree or they don't. And when they don't, who's the most uncomfortable? Me. And it doesn't benefit whoever I'm working with if I'm feeling uncomfortable with the option that somebody told me I had to do. I don't believe any adult is like that. I just don't. I believe that many people are just kind of unhappy doing what they're told. And we don't want our children to grow up like that. We want them to feel empowered to make choices, courageous choices, that by listening to their inner being instead of conflict by listening to their inner being, right? That's what I believe. That's what I feel. And it's really, really simple. Personally, I feel that the system needs to change altogether. But until that happens, which it's not going to happen as of today, or even maybe next year, or maybe not even in my lifetime, I don't know. But we can find ways to empower our children, and as parents, empower ourselves to support them, and even empower our teachers to understand that our children are here to show us there's a new way. We don't need to mold anyone. We don't need to manipulate or bribe. We can just connect and meet in a place where everybody is understanding and finding their way together. And it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect harmony, la la la. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we are here to support our children in their evolving and development into their adulthood, which their future is not ours, and it's going to be totally different. And giving them the tools to be able to listen to their passion, listen to their heart, listen to their inner being who is walking in the direction, or walking them into the direction where they need to go for their own beautiful future. And when we're stopping them, there's resistance. And then that's where we get these things, these things that are going on that we're talking about, I was listening to a video. Children on the spectrum, they will not change. They can't. They don't. They won't. And so great, because there are beautiful teachers telling us nobody really has to change. It's just everybody finding a new way of understanding that, looking at things differently, listening to other options, hearing about other choices and other ways from our children is beneficial and is good and is essential, in my opinion. And many, apparently, because I'm meeting a lot. And I've been researching this since, forever, since my daughter was a baby. And I have been finding many people that feel the same way. So I'm not crazy in my thinking. I just really passionately feel that our children are here to show us that. Because when I was a mama for the first time, and I had 3 stepchildren before I had my daughter. And I was a teacher for 10 years before I became a mother to my own child and had my 3 stepkids. And I always took an alternative approach anyway, but really being really close to it, being a mother, stepmother, and then my own daughter as well, you see things very differently. And every child is incredibly unique and beautiful. And when we can sit and listen to them and really, I don't know, negotiate. Really, the thing is just connecting and listening. And, I know one of the rules in our house, and yes, we had rules when I was married and I had my amazing stepkids, they were awesome, was they couldn't have their cell phone at night because they would be on it all night long. Well, I don't have that rule now because we don't have rules in our house. Now it's, my daughter's going to learn if she's on her phone all night long, she's going to be exhausted the next day, and she's experienced that and has told me, hey. But what I'm saying is that my beautiful stepchildren showed that to me by the resistance that they had to that. Woo! It was anger beyond belief. What do you mean I can't have my phone? It's my phone. There was so much resistance and argument. And I remember stepping back, asking myself, why am I fighting with her on this? This is ridiculous. She has a point. It's her phone. Her mother pays for it. I don't. My husband doesn't pay for it. She's not interrupting anyone. She's not on there doing things that are not appropriate because there's blocks to that. She's just talking to her friend. And I remember talking to my husband about it, and he agreed, and we said, okay, let's see what happens. And that was our rule, really, it really was. And she, after, like, she used to come to our house over every other weekend, and after the fourth weekend of doing that, I found the cell phone on our dining room table. She stopped doing it. And I thought, well, there you go. It didn't even matter. And we made this ridiculous rule that was just causing conflict and friction. Why? Because we weren't seeing her perspective on it. We didn't even ask. We thought that we knew better than her. And what better way for her to learn than to experience it on her own? Oh, I'm so tired. Or really, what really happened was she wasn't tired. Her little sister was frustrated because she kept waking her up. And so she decided to, low power mode. She decided to, okay, yeah. She made the decision, I'm not going to do this because it's not that important. I'm keeping my sister up. Wow, right? That's big to me. And that's just a little story. So I actually gave you 2 stories here. But yeah, I really, really feel that, think about this. We are humans that are easily molded sometimes because we come in with, we grow up with these beliefs. We don't come in this way, but we grow up with these beliefs and these thoughts of we have to please people, we have to follow the rules, or else we'll get fired, or this person won't love me if I don't act a certain way, and all these untruths that are just not true, and then we bring our children into the world, and they grow up with the same type of beliefs and thoughts, and really they are wired so differently now than we were, and they're just not that malleable. And there are adults, I was not that malleable, and I bet there are people watching that were not that moldable, and for sure. I can remember times standing on my dining room table yelling at my dad when I was little, like 7 years old. Why are you doing that? And, knowing that I was going to be chased and have a consequence after that, because I felt so passionate about what he was saying wasn't appropriate. I mean, it wasn't very moldable because it didn't change who I was, and my dad realized, and we became incredibly closer from that moment when I was 7 years old and standing on the table. You will not say those things about people. Our children have something to show us. They're our amazing, greatest teachers of all, and they will teach us something that we have forgotten if we listen. And that goes for anyone who is with children, anyone who cares for them and loves them, anyone. We will learn it if we're open to the experience of listening and hearing them instead of stating that my approach is best as the adult, the parent, the teacher. And I mean, in dangerous situations, and they're learning and growing, yes, our approach, don't run into the street, right? I mean, don't touch a hot stove, those kinds of things. I get it. But I'm talking about giving our children, allowing our children the space to be the teachers that they really are. They're here to show us a new way to understand and see others. So if we are open to hearing our child's perspective, what about others? What about other adults? What about accepting our children who are on the spectrum? We accept them the way they are because they're not going to change, and we know that. So why don't we accept all of our children the way they are and not try to change them into something that we want them to be? And I'm sure there are hundreds of millions of parents who do this, but, I've been through it, and a lot have that I know, and teachers as well. So what do we do? What do we do when we have our children in a classroom and the teacher is wanting to give them a space they don't want to give them a space. They want them to do what they need them to do. Well, we empower our children to work through that. We give them tools so that they know how to present themselves in a world that right now is not serving them. And then they know, by using these tools and reframing their thoughts and more, they know how to then, the world will come to me when I present myself the way that I feel good about myself and what I'm choosing to do in the world. And making courageous choices by listening to my inner power, my world will show up in a way that serves me too. And so that's the bigger story around it, and that's the bigger accomplishment. That's where we're wanting to go. And we do this with adults, we do this with ourselves. And seeing the different perspective of others, like allowing someone else to be who they are instead of wanting them to fit what we want them to be. You know, we have relationships with people and we get upset because they're showing up not the way that we want them to, or they're not showing up the way they said they would. But they said they would do this. They said they would call. They said, you know, they would meet me at this time. They said that they would be here. And then they're not, and we're upset. But if we're allowing the openness of, okay, well, we don't really, you know, their perspective of the world is different than mine. We don't really understand until we're open enough to connect and understand. And so why isn't this child sitting in his chair and doing what I'm asking? Why isn't he listening? Why isn't he raising his hand? Why isn't she hearing what I'm saying? Because their perspective is different than ours. And so be open to not trying to change and come to some kind of mutual understanding where there's this synergy of energy, connection. Everyone's mutually understanding and caring and being in a space of, this is what I need for me to be able to be successful in this situation, and this is what you need, and they're telling you what they need, or you're coming up with it together so that they can be successful in this situation, and voila, we're able to come together in a total different way. And it's magic. It really is. And so, you know, I'm up here sharing because I have so much to say, and I could keep going for hours, but I do have other things I need to do. And if you know, my website is there, childslight.live or childslight.live. Check it out. And if you're experiencing something where you're feeling, wow, you know, I would love to feel empowered, where I can work with my child in this new enlightened way and support my child so that they can walk into school feeling that empowered feeling, or even just in life, look me up and check me out and set up a consultation and we can talk. I'd love to do that. And looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you all of you who were here. I love you all so much. I love sharing. I really appreciate it. And leave any notes or comments or stories or questions down on the chat box there, and I look forward to reading them. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Love you.